Crisis and Crime Management Intelligence System, which is our global ATM crime database. It was originally launched in May of 2021 as the foundation of the ATM Security Association. And of course, that began as a blank slate, but it now holds nearly 44,000 incidents of ATM crime. Unfortunately, we know that's not nearly all of it, probably just a small slice, but we keep working to try to put as much in there as we can with our reports. With the merger of ASA and ATMIA on January 1st of this year, a large segment of our membership now has access to the crime database for the very first time. And this is a resource that I think you're going to want to get to know and to know as well as you can. The CCMIS has two primary functions. First, it's a tool for capturing and reporting ATM crime incidents. All ATMIA crime members have had the ability to do that for the past 2 years. And in addition, we provide complimentary access to law enforcement agencies across the US, as well as Canada, Europe, Australia, and any others that might request it as we go along. Secondly, the CCMIS serves as a repository for that data, as well as a tool for analyzing it. For example, you can select all the states within your operational footprint, look at those crime trends over a period of time for specific types of attacks. That kind of information can be very helpful in fine-tuning your security strategies. Okay, so we're going to start from the very beginning today, which means that some of this may be repetitive for those of you who already have some knowledge of how the system is organized and how it's used. So our agenda today will be, we'll introduce you first to the basic structure of the database. For those who have not reported any incidents of their own, we'll walk through the process of how to create your own alias, which is very quick and easy. Next, we'll record a new crime incident to let you see how that works. Then we'll review different ways we can look at the data, including creating some of your own trend analysis. And if you want to be able to import or export data in bulk, Eric Cross will walk us through that process as well. So we'll try to allow plenty of time for specific questions. If there is something you need to ask about right away, as Amber mentioned, fill out the question form and she'll handle it for us as we go along. For those of you who also do a lot of presentations, I'm sure you're familiar with one of the main cardinal rules of making presentations, and that is that you never do a live demo. You always use slides because something is always going to go wrong. But we're breaking that rule today because we need to. That just gives you a better sense of how things work. So if something does go wrong, please bear with us. We'll work around it as best we can, and I've got Eric on the call to back me up as well. So this is the home page of the CCMIS, and the starting point for whatever. If you look at this stack of links in the corner right here, each of these primary categories has 2 levels of subcategories. So if you click on this, you can get a really good idea of how the database is organized. And each of these primary categories, as I mentioned, has 2 levels of subcategories. What you see here, skimming and card data compromise, card theft, cash trapping, transaction reversal fraud, dispenser jackpotting, and others. Probably many of those are already familiar to you. So you can click on the individual subcategory here, and go on to the next level. And as you see with skimming, this turns into, plain old skimming turns into 21 additional subcategories. The first one in every list is unknown. That's one of our more popular options, actually. Then we have other options for different types of overlays, inserts, eavesdropping, so forth. The newest addition to this is down towards the bottom, which is a relay type act, which involves communication with cell phones to another ATM. And if there's none of the above that really fit very well, you can also choose other and write your own specification. The other subcategories here are not quite as lengthy, but They do expand well beyond just one or two items, so I really don't want to take time today to go through every single one of these in detail. But there are two of them that I want to pay a little more attention to, just because there is some confusion sometimes in how they're categorized. Dispenser, jackpotting, and unlimited operations. Dispenser jackpotting, as you can see from the subcategories here, always involves access to the internals of the ATM. So that's one of the things that actually kind of sets that apart from the other type of jackpotting or cash out, and that would be the unlimited operations, which is the other term for this type. And typically this is host substitution, man in the middle. This kind of operation that we see with those attacks. And go ahead and collapse that. The other major category, of course, is physical attacks. And just as with fraud attacks, each of these primary categories has two levels of subcategories. But unlike the breakdown in the fraud status, there's only 4 different categories here for physical attacks, and none of these are nearly as complex or as voluminous as the ones that we have on the fraud side. So hopefully that gives you a little better idea of how the database is organized, and you're going to see opportunities as we go along to utilize all of those different types of identification. In order to record an ATM crime incident, you have to be logged into your ATMIA account, and you have to have an alias, which is sort of a user ID for reported crime incidents. Every incident that you report is going to be tied to that particular alias. And with a couple of clicks, you can review all of the incidents that you reported and make additions or changes if needed. It's called an alias because it's another name for you or your organization. We set it up that way because most ATM operators would rather not be associated with attacks on their own ATMs. So you're free to use your name, your organization's name, your firstborn child, your favorite superhero, whatever it might be in there. The only restriction on that is that you can't have the same alias as somebody else. So if you do happen to do that, it'll tell you, and you'll have to pick something else. So we're going to go ahead then now and create an alias, which, as I mentioned, is very, very simple. For the first time, it's going to take you to this screen. And so we'll put in, I'm going to use Sky King, which probably dating myself here. Sky King was a TV show when I was a kid, and it was one of my favorite ones. So I've got that done, and that's all there is to it. Now I can go ahead and report an incident. The process is going to vary a little bit, but as I show you what the structure of the database is, fraud incidents obviously can, again, be a little more complicated than the physical ones. A few days ago, I received a media report of an ATM crime from 2024, and I'm guessing that one may have popped up because the perps, it looks like, have been caught and charged with the crime, and it was a pretty big loss, about almost $90,000 just in cash. And but I thought that would be a good example to demonstrate how to record a crime incident. For one, you know, the media reports are always good things to pay attention to and record if you're able to. And everybody at some point probably will hear about some of those from local TV or radio, or whatever it might be. So we're going to go ahead and do that. This type of incident was actually a physical attack, and it was. So we'll click here on the basic type of incident. The date of that incident in this case was May 12th, 2024. So we've got to go back a little bit here. And on a Sunday, terrible that it was on a Sunday. If the exact date is unknown, you can also check this box and you know, let everybody know that that's just an estimate. The time of the incident, this one was at 3 o'clock in the morning. AM. The default on the number of occurrences is 1, but you can actually plug in as many reports as you have for this particular incidents that you have for this particular report. So, but I'm just going to go ahead and put in 1 for us here. The region, North America is the default, but you can pull up anything. And country is U.S. And state, county. This one was actually in Michigan. Postal code. We have this in here because we didn't want to use specific addresses. Again, to try to make these reports as anonymous as we can, but still be useful to folks. Very, very seldom do people plug in the postal code, but I do happen to know what it is on this one, so I'm going to 601, I think. Plug that in. And then a brief description, and this is really where most of the data is going. I've got the description from the news source here up, queued up, so I'm going to go ahead and copy that and then go back, and I'll just plug that in, save a little time here. And okay, so that is in there. And then the estimated damages, again, this is a drop-down list. So very easy and quick to pull that in. In this case, the cash lost was almost $89,000, but of course they destroyed the ATM and had property damage along with that. So we're going to go ahead and plug in the $1,000 plus category here. Location, this was a credit union drive-through ATM, so we'll have a bank branch external access. Type of machine that was impacted was drive-through. And source of intelligence, this gives you an opportunity to, if it's yourself or somebody else, news media, you can plug something in there. So I'll just include the local TV. Whoops. And then you can also put a URL in there for a news article, which this is, for example, and I actually have the item in here. I'm doing all this because this is actually an addition to the database. So I will copy that URL in there, paste. And so now somebody else can take a look at the pictures and everything else that's on there for this particular report. So now we're going to click on continue to go to the next item. And again, it's asking for the primary category option. So if drop this list down, and again, this was theft from the ATM. They actually just stole the cassettes and went away with those. As far as the theft from the ATM, they want to know how that was done. And in this case, it was a vehicle was used to breach the safe, kind of the usual hook and chain thing, type of vehicle. And this was a pickup truck. And so we'll go on now. If that's all the information you have, you can actually complete the incident here and drop out. The items with the asterisk on them are the fields that are required that you have something in there. But if you have more information, there's quite a few other things that you can plug in here, and it's good to know what those are in case you do have that information. Precursors, this is other information about the attack. When was the ATM last replenished, inspected, maintenance, so forth on there. Another category that we can drop down, what grade of ATM safe was in there, were there special locks, how was it mounted, any other security devices, so forth. So as you can see, just a whole lot of information. Most of these things, unfortunately, do not get filled in, but whenever reporters have the ability to do that, we really appreciate it. In another case here, so was there any closed circuit TV involved here, any other alarms? Again, a lot of information that if you have might be helpful to others. And then finally, a group of other category countermeasures that might be in place. Then again, if you're complete with the report, you can edit here, or you can go on to the last section, and that allows you to plug in the manufacturer, the ATM, model, serial, any other information that you might have, alarms and alerts, whether alarms were activated, any monitoring alerts, any other kind of notification. Transaction pattern, for something like physical attacks, you're probably not going to have anything there that's relevant. And then images and other details. So you've got, if you have closed circuit TV or pictures, whatever there of the criminals, you can attach those and any other information here. So that makes for very, is very, very helpful for others who are doing their investigations, obviously. And then some final things about, the different organizations that you might be reporting to. And so at this point now, we're complete with this incident. And we go in there, and it's automatically taken me to the list of my incidents. So I see how my one incident here now. And so again, as you add your own reports and own incidents on there, all of your incidents are going to show up here. If you find some additional information, you need to make some changes, you can do that just by going over to that particular item, and you can make edits on that, or if for some reason you made mistakes and want to start over, you can delete that item and go on from there. So a lot of good capabilities there. We're going to go back to the main page here, and now we're going to go to the reports and statistics part of the demo here. So when you navigate this page, the default charts are let's see here. Yep, I'm going to get rid of this here. Yep. The system does hold on to some of the settings you have from previous use of the database, so you can reset everything once you get in there. But this is the global information that we have, and let's see, we want to get out of. Okay, we want to get this back to. Yeah, that's what I said. Meant about talked about doing live demos. But so here we are. We're back to the beginning of this then with just the global information that's in there. And as you see here, we've got heat map as well. There's global incidents that are listed here, and the heat maps show where the greatest activity is. The pie chart has the basic breakdown in the fraud and physical attacks. And then it also lists the incidents by date. You'll see that we get a lot of bulk information that gets into the system. So we've got some big spikes here, and then incident types by date as well. So if there's, as you can see here, if you come into first come into this particular page, it might look more like this. The settings icon here will allow you to drop down some of the other functionality that you have for for doing some searches. So since most of our members on this are in the U.S., the rest of the demo here I want to do is for the U.S. as a country, because it's a little more relevant that way. So we're going to select the country as the U.S., and you'll notice now that the charts have changed again. So we've got the country with the heat map of the various states on there. The incidents of types have changed. The global one, you saw that it was 88% fraud breakdown on all the global numbers, only 12% physical. And this pattern has been going on pretty much for the whole time with the database. The U.S. patterns are just a lot different than that. Right now, the total is about 71% for physical attacks and 29% for fraud. And again, that's something that's very important to take a look at for this. we can also take a look at some different countries, some different states. The heat map on the left, as I said, shows you that we've got quite a bit of additional activity in New York and Texas than the rest of the country. So we can go up to our options here, and we'll just go to, we've got the United States listed, selected, so we'll just ask for Texas and get that down. And as you see, Texas, quite a bit, a little different than what the U.S. is, but the pattern is still there. We've got quite a bit more physical attacks, than fraud, and 93% though is quite a bit more that we see. It just that's kind of the pattern again that we see in Texas. A lot of hook and chain down there, and so forth, and only 7% fraud. So obviously, if you're wondering what to do to protect your ATMs in Texas, you certainly don't want to neglect the physical crime countermeasures. California, though, it might be a little different. It is a little different. We'll go ahead and change the state to California. And okay, we see that California now, we've got a more even split between the physical attacks and fraud. Physical still, still more, but nearly half of the attacks are fraud. So obviously in California, your risk is a little bit spread out a little more evenly than what it is in Texas. So we can get a little more specific on this too, since there's a fairly even split here with California. It might be good to take a look at the, what's the breakdown on those different categories. So we can go up and select the incident type. We can look for a breakdown on both, on either fraud or physical or both. We'll take a look at both. And so, that now shows how each of the different types of attacks compare. So we've got theft of the ATM itself and skimming fraud are almost the same percentage over time for California. The theft from the ATM is a distant third place, followed by other types of fraud and types of physical attacks. And if you're even a little more curious, for example, about some different types, we're looking at this 12.5% that is theft from the ATM. We can go up here and get a little more specific about our search and say, okay, let's take a look at, just the fraud, or the theft rather, from the ATM. And so now what this has done is it's broken down all the different categories that there are within that one section. So it's theft from the ATM, and we see here that 63% of that theft was cutting. And then the other categories here, unknown, we've got vehicle usage actually is only about 8.7%. So a little surprising there maybe. But that information, again, it can be very helpful and helping you as an operator figure out what you have to do with the things that you have to be more cautious of. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of these categories here. And so that gives you a pretty good idea of how things look at the state, but I also wanted to, take a look and demonstrate how you can look at a larger group of states and get some patterns there. So we're going to unclick California. A lot of folks do business and operate in just a particular area. So I thought we'd take a look at the New England states as one area. So we'll take a look at Connecticut, Delaware, and Massachusetts. And then we've got New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, and I think I missed one here. Oh, Maine, yep. There we go. And then Rhode Island and Vermont. Okay, so we've got the 9 New England states up there. And interestingly enough, half and half in the breakdown here. So 50%, and again, this is the total breakdown for the entire time, the amount of data that we have in the system. And it's very easy to take a look at this too as more of a trend and see what's happened over the years. So we can go up to the date frame fields here and take a look at what the pattern was the very first full year that we had data, which was 2022. So take a look at 1/1/2022 over here and 12/31/2022. And we get down and, very interesting because we've got that first year we had 57%, 58% physical fraud, and then 42% fraud. So, obviously, more of fraud was, or physical attacks were more of an issue there than fraud. And it's pretty easy to compare that to succeeding years. Then we can take a look at 2023. Just by changing that year over there, and whoops, it's going to make me do this again. Okay, 2023, and all of a sudden now that's flipped. 2023, we had more fraud. It was 62%, a pretty good change there. And then again, take a look one more year, do 2025 or 2024 rather, and 2024 here. And lo and behold, it's flipped back again. We've got now again more physical attacks. So I think the main point we're trying to demonstrate here is the fact that data does, all these data, it does change over time. So you really need to take a good look at things over time as well as others. So the okay, and we're going to go back then now to the home page. Okay, and as you can see from the search options here, we're going to search for the database. As you can see here, there's many different ways that you can search for incidents. Very complete word searches, complex word searches are possible. There's even an option to allow for partial word matches. If you select the U.S. as the country, you can, as I say, limit that search to one state or a group of states. But one of the things you'll find too is, even though we don't ask for addresses, some of the city names, cities, for example, do show up in the searches. So you can go up. I've already got Chicago in there for this particular search, and let me get rid of this here real quick. So if I go down, then that will display a list of all the incidents that have the word Chicago in the description or anywhere else in the file. So as you see here, we've got 78 incidents in this particular case. So you can take a look at what these reports are like, and the information that's there could be very helpful. Now, if you want to get even more specific, we can look for just physical attacks, and that reduces it down now to 74 incidents. And we can get even more specific and make this theft of the ATM. And now we're down to 58 incidents, but this is again just theft of the ATM. We always get really irritated by the fact that many of the ATMs are stolen manually, and unfortunately that's a pretty good category. So we're going to take a look at manual removal of the ATM. So 36, almost half of the incidents, theft incidents in Chicago were manual thefts. In other words, that ATM was not bolted down to anything and didn't require the use of a hook and chain or any power equipment or anything else to get it out of there. But, you know, one or more people actually just carried that ATM out of the establishment. So, you know, we don't like the fact that that happens at all. So that's one of our major things that we try to promote for everybody, is make sure that those ATMs, regardless of where they are fastened properly, because that will certainly help with with that. So as you see, again, the search capability is very flexible. You can search pretty much anything that you want, or any combination of what you want to do. And if you have any questions doing some of those searches, just let us know. We're going to be happy to help you with it. So as most of you probably know also, we do publish quarterly crime trend reports that are available to all ATMIA members. They're usually released a few weeks after the quarter end, and those reports are also available on the website. So annual report is also published a month or so into the new year, and also posted on the website. So before we hand this over to Eric, Amber, any questions have popped up? Have any questions popped up that we need to answer right now?
David, you must have be doing a really good job of explaining, because none so far. But again, just a reminder to the audience, if you do have some questions, just put them in the questions panel, and we'll address those.
Okay, well, Eric, over to you on walking us through importing and exporting this data.
All right, thanks, David. And thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm going to jump back in and start with exporting, because David was just talking about searching. So going with his Chicago example, we've got 25 reports, 78 incidents. When you're in the search, all you have to do is hit export results, and it will export the contents of your current search. So if we export the results, you can see that it exported all of them. And this includes most of the main data that comes with the incidents. So the incident date, the incident time, if it's provided, categories, regions, country, state, postal code, descriptions. People are very good at entering descriptions of what happens, the number of incidents associated with the report, the location, machine type, and the source of intelligence, and all of that information. And like I said, this is exported based on your search. So if you clear all your results, you can export all results. And live demo, it worked. And now you've got all of the data from the system that you can run your own reports on, and evaluate the data as you see fit. For those of you that are entering data, we have a mass import. So you can go to the import incidents page and download the Excel template, which will look something like this. Once again, it includes all of the required fields to generate an incident, starting with incident type, incident ID, reference number, and all of this data is tied to the data from the system. So when we add categories or change, right now we're looking at adding a cyber incident type or fraud attack type. So you pick the incident type. If you have a local reference number for your own tracking system, you can enter that here. The incident date, the incident time, the estimated date, if it's estimated yes or no. And then we've got all the categories. So they were stealing cards, by trapping them. Once you select a second category, you can't actually go back and change the first one, so you would have to remove this and then go back and change it, just so we maintain the integrity of the data. All of the required fields are denoted with an asterisk. Region is one of them. This one's global. You can still select additional options like North America. We'll say it was Canada, British Columbia. Just fill in all the information you have. The database is only as good as the data that we get into it. I have created a little demo file that I'm going to import just with a few different types so we can kind of see what happens there. So you fill out your file, you go to import your incidents, and you get a report of what actually happened. So it imported 3. It had insufficient data for a 4th one, which if you look at my demo, I knew I didn't fill it out. It didn't have a description, it didn't have a region, and that's why it failed. So once all of these have been imported, you will see them in your incidents. And I'm also logged in with the same account as David. So you can see they were put on my alias. If you have changes, you can make the changes directly in your Excel file and re-import it, and it will do the updates. If you want to come in and add additional, I'll change my alias. Oh, there's a bug. I knew something was going to happen. So we'll see if we can get by that. No, I must have broke something. But you can go in and edit your incidents. So if we go back and search for today, or let's do, I know one of them I entered was in here. There, hurricane. So you can actually go back in and view the full incident for any incident, and then for your own incidents, you can edit them. All right, I'll get this fixed, I promise.
No problem.
And as for the future, I mentioned we were looking at adding cryptocurrency categories, notifications for incidents. So if you want to sign up for notifications, that's something that we're looking at adding. So if a Texas incident was added, you could potentially get a notification there. Are there any questions on the importing or exporting?
None that have come in. I did have one as you were going through the importing in the Excel template. I saw there was a reference number. It was not highlighted as being required. I'm assuming the system just assigns the reference number that if one is not put in.
So the reference number is if the person entering the data has a local system that they have a reference number for.
Okay.
It's the incident ID that is automatically generated by the system.
Good to know. Thank you.
So if you were your own company and you wanted to enter them, you could put in your reference numbers that match with your system. So you could go back in and find them later.
Good to know. Thank you very much. But yeah, you have also done a great job. No one else has had any questions. There was one that is not able to see the screen. I could see it on my end, and it will be in the recording that we send out as well.
A couple other things, Amber, just wanted to add real quick.
Yeah.
You know, this system, a lot of it, organizations now, particularly financial institutions, are looking at tracking, you know, crime for their individual organization. And this is a very good way to do this. I mean, it's a system that's available to you for no fees. And you know, you can set up an alias, and Eric is the only one who has access to whose alias belongs to what organization. So that's not something that anybody else is going to see. So that's something you might want to think about. And I do hope that those who are on the call who don't have an alias right now in the call and go set one up right away, and maybe even report an incident that they may have heard about either in their own organization or through the media. So always great to help with any of this, though, and great turnout. Really appreciate everybody being here.
The other thing I wanted to mention is on the reports and statistics, you know, we've got all the great charts, but sometimes you just want to see numbers. You can switch to table view, and it will show you, based on your search parameters, the number of incidents, fraud, physical attack, etc. By day. You know, there's just a lot of information that you can gather from this.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody being on the call, and certainly if there are any questions that come up, anybody wants to ask, you can reach out to Amber or myself. Be happy to help with on that. One of the additional categories that Eric was talking about is that we are trying to come up with a cryptocurrency scam category, and struggling a little bit to try to come up with the breakdown on what those categories should look like. So if you have any thoughts on that, please do reach out to me as well, because that's something that we'd like to add if we can you know, figure out a good layout for it. So Amber, any closing thoughts from you?
Just a few, you know, again, with the crime and database that we've created, again, your input helps it make it be as strong as it is. Along with that, just referencing a few of the educational materials that we have. For instance, we were talking about, you know, David have showed how ATMs were being, you know, physically taken just because they weren't bolted down. We do have security best practices. So if you are seeing areas in your, you know, that things are popping up, we probably have best practices that are great reference material to make sure that you are putting everything in place to mitigate the loss as much as possible if it should happen to you guys. Same with that, we also have a security training course, which was just updated last year with the most recent crime that we're seeing and ways that you can train your staff and also review what you're doing there. And then David, I don't know if you want to touch on several of the committees that also support and talk about just the connections beyond our conferences and throughout the year, where we can talk openly and candidly about what's going on and how we're handling that. I maybe might hand it back to you for final thoughts on that, and then I'm done.
Sure. Well, thanks, Amber. Yeah, we do have two committee groups. One is the ATM Security Committee, and that's more of a working committee group that all of our members are you know, can participate in. And we have two co-chairs for that group who help us with the agenda, and they're, you know, member co-chairs. So lots, you know, a lot of good relative data that comes up with those with those meetings. The next one is I think in June, but they are on the event calendar that's on the website, and we do send out invitations to everybody who's on the list. If you do want to join one of those committees, you can go into your account, and My Committees is a link there that you can choose which committees you want to participate in. The other one we have is a little bit different, not really a committee, it's more of a discussion forum, and that's the ATM Criminal Activity Forum. Peter Kulik with FCTI hosts that. It's really kind of a roundtable discussion where everything is the participants on the call are the ones who drive that, and have a good opportunity to ask questions of each other and kind of relay their own experiences and that sort of thing. So also, again, that's on the list if you want to join that. It's very easy to sign up. So Amber, I think that's it for me.
All right. Well, yeah, great overview. And again, we are here to help as you have questions, not only on this, but any of the benefits or how to you can utilize them to fit your needs, not only for yourself, but your company. But along with that, we will be sending out a thank you email within the next couple of days with the recording, and we'll highlight some of these items that we talked about. And then just keep an eye on future webinars that are coming up. We are usually hosting them at least monthly, so on a variety of topics. But with that, we thank you for joining us and wish you guys all a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Amber.